Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
What's up, everybody? Friday Face-Off here today. We got a topic that's going to knock your socks off. I'm really excited. Every Friday, we take a topic that might be a little controversial in the youth hockey world or the hockey world. Might not be. Sometimes Jeff and I, we agree. Sometimes we do not agree. But Jeffrey the J. Hulavecchio, are you ready for the noise? You ready to bring the thunder?
Bring the noise. Let's go.
Okay. So actually, with my coach, so I started a coach mentorship program. And we got about 35 coaches, all different ages, that coach all different ages. We got some college coaches in there. We got some youth coaches in there. We got some junior coaches. Like it's a lot of fun. And we get on a call once a week, and a person will present on a topic that they are passionate about. And so we had a Division III assistant coach that gave a presentation yesterday, and the presentation was on pre-scouts. And so when you get into a coach's room, you will have a lot of different opinions on how to execute on a pre-scout. The types of information you're giving, the amount of information you're giving, when to do it, how to do it, the duration, how long is the meeting going to be? Do you split it up into different things? Do you do it all in one? Do you do it right before the game? Do you do it in the afternoon? Do you do it the night before? Like there's so many different ways to skin the cat as it relates to pre-scouting your opponent. And so it was a great conversation that we had in our coach mentorship group. Cam did a great job with presenting, and then great discussion afterwards. But I want to hear from you. Like, what do you think is the most effective way to provide, when you get to the higher levels of hockey, a pre-scout to your team where they can then apply what the information is that they've been given to help you win a hockey game?
In the American League, almost every team that I played for 3 teams in the American League, I think. Yeah. Every team that I played for, when you'd come in on game day, usually in the morning, but for sure when you came back at night for the game, they would have pieces of paper up, taped to the wall, and it would be their power play breakout and the numbers and where they're breaking out. It would have their penalty kill and how they set up, like the setup usually. It would have, write-ups on their forecheck. If they did any specific face-off plays that the coaching staff saw that they run often in the offensive zone, they might have those on there. They'll have the lineup on some teams where I had like really, really dialed in coaches. They would have an excerpt about every single player, about what type of player they were, especially the fighters. If they're a fighter, all right, nobody's fighting this guy except whoever our fighter was, leave this guy out there. He's a liability. We want this guy out there type of thing. But they'd have, a paragraph or a few sentences on every single player and their tendencies and habits. So that would be up at the rink. Some teams, it would be up in the morning. Some teams, it would be up at night, so that after the meetings, before the meetings, you could go and read all that stuff on your own. Take as much time as you want to familiarize yourself with what they're going to be doing on their special teams, their forecheck, their breakout, all those types of things. That was really helpful for me as a player when I played for coaches that took the time to do that. And then most of the teams, we would have our meeting 2 hours before the game. So or maybe an hour and 45, like you'd have to be there 2 hours before the game. And then an hour and 45 minutes before the game started, we would do our pre-scout. Some teams, it was just a talk that we were playing against. If it was a 3-3, might only be a talk. If it's the first game of the weekend and we're at home, we might have the video set up. Sometimes on the road, they bring the video, and it'd be less than a 5-minute meeting. Never some crazy long meeting. It was, here's their habits, here's their tendencies, here's that type of stuff. And on the best team in the American League that I played for, that at the time was coached by Scott Gordon, Providence Bruins. When I joined them out of college, I think we went 13-1 in the 14 games that I was there with them for the regular season before playoffs. They had the best record of all time regular season in the AHL. And Gordo, after the pre-scout, would always play like a video of highlights from the week before for our team going into the game. So he'd finish up that meeting with, and he'd ask a different guy every time he did that for their favorite band. And he would play music of one guy on the team's favorite band with the highlight tape. So the meeting would
That's really
finish
cool.
and everybody's excited to get going and go hit their warm up and do that type of stuff. And just like a little touch, but the team won 8 billion games that year. And I think there was something to that. So every team is different. I played on teams where we did our pre-scout, all of it in the morning. But I personally like to do it closer to the game. But like I said, for me and the type of learner that I am, I also really, really liked when coaches took the time to put as much info up on the wall with all of those types of details, because it just helped me kind of go and do my visualization out in the rink, looking at the ice before the game. It helped me prepare for what they were going to do, what I was going to see as a penalty killer for their power play, most likely, and things like that.
Yeah, I love that. I think, it's interesting saying that, because the hard part about a pre-scout is not every player is created equal. And some players want a lot of information. Some players, if they get a lot of information, it's paralysis by analysis. Like, I didn't want that much. I would rather have the necessaries and then play.
Right. Right. Because you're smarter than me, honestly. Like, as a hockey player and just like a school intelligence, like, you're smarter than me. So what you're saying,
but it was more along the lines of
true.
like, if I felt like if I had to know about all these different things, it was almost like a test, and then it would be paralysis by analysis kind of thing. And I was much better in the other way. And so that's why I think, coaches, it's with the whole team, it's as efficient as possible, as short as possible, as efficient as possible. But then you got to know your players who want more, and you have to understand and know exactly what the other team is doing in all these different situations, so you can answer the questions that you get from the more inquisitive players that do want to know the more. Especially like if you're running the power play, or running the penalty kill, like, hey, like things as minute as like, hey, when you're in the half wall, they put their stick in the middle and down to the net, like stick positioning. This is what we do. This is what they do when they rotate, all that kind of stuff. So one of the hardest things as a coach at that level, like, and you agonize over it, like you legitimately agonize over it, is you have a meeting that has to be 5 to 10 minutes long tops with your team. Now, in that meeting, you're probably going to show anywhere from, let's just say, 7 to 12 clips. Okay. In your pre-scout of that team, you probably have 100 clips. And all 100 you think are clips that the team needs to see, And so you agonize over which clips you're going to keep in that 7 to 12, and you're getting rid of all these clips. You're like, oh man, but they need to see this, but we can't give them too much. We got to make it efficient and all that kind of stuff. So like it really is an art. Like, it's kind of a science, but it really is an art depending on the team. And obviously a lot's going to change based upon of like what the schedule is like. So pro is going to be probably a lot different than college, where pro, you're playing weekday games and you're on the road more, versus college when you might be playing the same team twice in a weekend and you only need to prepare for one team and you got the whole week to prepare for it. So now, you can do video on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday leading up to it. Maybe you don't even need to show a pre-scout on Friday, type stuff. And so there's a lot of nuances that go into it, but it's an art, man. It's definitely an art. And one of the things that I always think is important to talk about too is, identity. It's identity. I think every video session that is done, whether it's a pre-scout or other type of video session, all has to come back to identity. Were we playing to our identity in these clips that we're showing you right now? And then for the pre-scout, like, how is our identity and how we play going to help us to win a game against the structure and the systems and the things that they do? Always tying it back to like, hey, this is what they do, but this is how our identity is going to give us an advantage. And so always tying it back to who we are and how we play.
Yeah, there's nothing worse. I played for a few coaches throughout my career who would want to change the game plan to whoever we were playing against. And that's confusing. That's hard. The players who don't have as high of hockey IQs, it's tough for them to switch systems all the time. And because the messaging was way more about the other team. Like,
yeah, there's little things that you can do differently.
Right. Little things, but you're
yeah.
not changing your forecheck every single week, like to try to beat the team's, breakout. And it's like, what? Like, let's just do ours better and that type of thing. So I totally agree on that. And one of the other things that I personally really liked, especially like when I was in a a top 2 line role was getting the pre-scouts on the other team's goalies. And as my career went longer and longer, it seemed like every year there was more of an emphasis on the pre-scout, on the other team's goalies, and more information available just on their tendencies. Like, hey, he comes out really far. So if you hold on the puck just a bit longer and get a good pump fake or something, you're probably going to have a chance to beat him, but with your legs, not just your shot. Or this guy gives out a lot of rebounds and likes to play deep in the net, so make sure you go to the net because there's going to be rebounds. Those types of things, pre-scouting the goalies, I really enjoyed those towards the end of my career too.
Yeah. And just lastly, really quick here, because I know time is up, but like, I also think that what's the story you're telling through your pre-scout presentation is really important too. So like, let's say you're a first place team and you're playing against a last place team. What's the story that you're telling in this pre-scout meeting? If I'm the first place team, it's showing a lot of positive clips of the other team. Hey, like, I know this is where they're at in the standings, but like, look at like this player, really, we got to make sure we key. And this is what they do really well. So it's not like they're going into it thinking it's going to be a cakewalk. Like, hey, they're really competitive. They're going to make you earn every inch of ice, whatever it may be, blah, blah, blah. And then if you're that last place team and you want to instill some confidence, it's like, hey, like these guys, they're ripe. Here's a couple things they don't do really well. Here's a couple things that we can exploit. Like this player, like, yeah, he's got a lot of points, but he's, you can get into his head, it's like finding a way to frame it in a way that's going to help the mentality of your team going into the game. I think what is the story that you're trying, it's not just the tactics, but what's the story you're trying to tell to the team based on who you're playing against, where you're at, in your season, how well you're playing as a team, things like that. So it's the tactical stuff, but it's also the identity and it's also the mentality that you can tell a story through the clips and through the things that you're communicating to. So yeah, man, pre-scout it up. Let's
pre-scout it. Next show.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.